Hey, Terry Hodgkinson, Sifu. I thought I'd do this video today just to tie a few of the principles together, perhaps elaborate on them a little bit to make more sense of the previous videos that I've done and segregated each principle. So when you start here at Chung Fu Martial Arts, you start off with elemental movement, something that I call are the elements, which are categorized into 4 different divisions. You have 8 stances, 8 arm strikes, 8 leg strikes, and 8 blocks or parries. This is the 32 movements that you initially learn, and these movements make up many, many more movements, just like letters of the alphabet. If you put them together, you can have many words, a tremendous amount of words, actually. Well, the letters of the English alphabet, there are 26, and elements in the Chung Fu Martial Arts, there are 32. So there are a lot of different combinations that you can have. However, when you're learning these elements, you really want to concentrate on the very first primary principle, which is called biomechanics. Sometimes it's been referred to as form as well. Biomechanics is the ability to be precise, to have awareness of the starting point of a move, the flight path of a move, and the finishing point of a move and its return. So as an example, from here, this would be the starting point, this would be the flight path, this would be the impact point, and this would be the return. If there is a return, okay, there's always going to be a return into a new movement, but it just depends on where the return starts from and ends at. So, it could be here, and then, the return might be different because this would return here while I'm using my elbow to strike next. So that's just give you an example. I'm trying to break this down into the simplest terms today. So the biomechanics is precision. When you do this, you want to be able to do it 10 out of 10 times in a row without deviation. Best you can possibly pull that off. This follows the 3 modes of learning. And of course, if you remember that from a previous video, you have theory, which is realizing. You realize the concepts, which are biomechanics, how you do your biomechanics properly so that you can train it and not make a lot of deviations or mistakes, and therefore not have to continue to retrain it over and over and over again to get it correct. Yeah, sometimes that's going to happen. Happened to me a lot when I was a younger student. But on the most part, you want to try to get it right from the beginning, best you can, so that you don't have to repeat it over and over and relearn it. Sometimes relearning takes longer than learning it in the first place. Now, after the theory, of course, comes the practice, and the practice is controlling. So, theory, while you're practicing, you might not be right all the time right off the beginning, so you might veer off the particular biomechanics principle. But practice is controlling that principle of biomechanics, the perfection of it, okay? So you practice to control. And then, of course, you have application, which is being able to utilize it at any time without thinking about it. And I know that this is a very simple motion, but I'm trying to get the point across here. So after biomechanics, we start applying calibration. Calibration is the ability to manipulate the relaxation and tension in muscles. And this will give you the velocity and impact that you require when moving for effect, for a combative effect, obviously. So to do this, you have to really become aware of your muscles and what muscles need to be tense to hold position or to guide position, and yet what muscles need to be relaxed for the flow, the easiness of the movement, the quickness of the movement. So as an example from this basic movement here, your biomechanics are intact. You are holding already in place certain tense muscles to maintain this position. If I was not manipulating certain muscles, then watch what happens. The arm just falls out of nowhere because I need a certain tension to maintain this position. Now from here, when we apply the accelerated calibration, then the awareness comes in and what muscles to tense and what muscles to keep relaxed. A lot of people do this intuitively if they continue to practice, but I'm trying to get across the actual theory of it. So from here, you go from here to here. So what muscles do I relax and what muscles do I tension to propel? So you can see from here. And once again, you want to really notice that the biomechanics, the principle of how you apply the movement should never be sacrificed. Why? Simply because you can have all the speed and the power or the calibration, ability, which provides you the velocity and the impact that you want. But if you strike and you miss the target, you could place yourself in even worse position than had you not have struck at all. So keep that in mind. Biomechanics is the foundation, and then calibration is how you get it there, but make sure it follows the proper biomechanics. Okay, so let's go on. When we first learn, you're learning the elemental movements, and you're really working on the biomechanics. Then you're working on streetwise application of those biomechanics, and of course the calibration, proper calibration. Once you finish that particular aspect of it, then you want to work on from there what we call our compounds, and this would be like combinations. Okay, so you might be here and you might say, okay, so I've done this particular movement here, and then from here I come in and I use the elbow, and then maybe I use the hammer fist. It could be also combinations or with the including the other arm. So you might be here, and then this one comes in, and then that one comes in, and then this one comes in. So this just gives you an idea of compounds, which is the ability to take more than one element and combine it into a continuous flowing motion. And that takes considerable time and practice, because again, you never want to sacrifice the biomechanics. So you don't want it to look like Mugu Gai Pan. You want it to be able to look like something that when you're doing it, you have great precision, great skill over. And of course, adding the calibration, I've seen so many people fall apart when they add calibration because they get so fast with it that they sacrifice the biomechanics. So keep in mind, you don't want to sacrifice any of the principles. You want to get better at them, but you need to hold them in your awareness. Yeah, you need to hold all of them in your awareness. It's like a chess game, but on multiple levels. I don't know if you've ever seen the old Star Trek, or I think it was The Next Generation actually, where they have a game of chess, but it's on different levels, and you have to be aware of each level at the same time. This is exactly the training that you're undertaking here at Chung Fu, because you have different principles that are applied together, but there's different things happening at different levels. So it really expands your awareness and heightens your ability to keep more than one thing happening at the same time and having precision over it. Okay, so I hope that helps as we discuss the elemental movement, we discuss the biomechanics, we discuss calibration, and then bringing some of all that together in relation to streetwise application, compounds, which are combinations, multiple combinations. And that's a good start when you're training, is to understand that those particular concepts are exactly what you're training here at Chung Fu Martial Arts. So hope that helps, and take care for now. And remember, train hard, but always train smart. Thank you.